Hello guys, it is Gated Theories here, and we are now so close to Doctor Who Series 13. The show is doing something it has never really done before with this new series, only really ever in Classic Who, where every episode connects to form a full, overarching 6-part story. Similar to Torchwood, Children of Earth and Miracle Day, Series 13 isn't actually called Series 13, but rather Flux. The trailer saw many different monsters returning and new, including the Sontarans, Weeping Angels, the Ood, the Cybermen, these weird Wookiee looking creatures called the Carvanista, and these blue skull-like creatures who could also be the Ravagers, as they were mentioned in the teaser trailer. Looks like these skull creatures are going to be the main threat in Series 13, and maybe behind the Flux. But what actually is the Flux, as that is the main component of this story arc, and how do all of these creatures actually relate together to form an overarching story, and what does this inevitably have to do with the Timeless Child, as that has to be addressed in this series? Well, I think I found the answer, but before we go any further, please make sure that you click that red subscribe button down below and have your notifications turned on so that you get notified every time I make any brand new Doctor Who videos. So, what is the Flux? Nothing's been confirmed about whether it's a concept, an alien, a prophecy, or anything really. All we know is that in the teaser trailer, the Doctor said,
"The Flux is coming."
And that whatever this is, it will bring with it the Sontarans, the Weeping Angels, and creatures known as the Ravagers. So, whatever the Flux is, it clearly is immensely powerful. But before we try working out how the Sontarans relate to the Weeping Angels, let's just look at it literally. What does the word flux mean in a sci-fi sense? Flux can be used to refer to a period of continuous change to a person, a planet, or even a whole universe. This could very easily be suggesting reality itself is fluctuating around the Doctor and her fam, changing and rewriting universes as they travel through space and time. It's a very interesting concept and gives me very much parallel universe vibes from the Russell T Davies era, but I'm reckoning this is on a much bigger scale. Not just looking at parallel Earths, but maybe parallel histories and events that could be clashing onto each other, or maybe even parallel Doctors. And there is actually a lot of evidence suggesting this could be the case. Let's go all the way back to the end of Series 12 for a second, when it was announced John Bishop would be playing the character Dan in Series 13. On the BBC's announcement, they said, as he becomes embroiled in the Doctor's adventures, Dan will quickly learn there's more to the universe, brackets S, than he could ever believe. Now, it seems very odd for the BBC to put an S at the end of universe, suggesting Jodie is going to be travelling through several different universes, meaning parallel universes are probably very likely in Series 13, as well as the Doctor Who multiverse. But what else do we have to further suggest that this is what Flux is? Well, we have the return of the Sontarans, but not New Who looking Sontarans. Instead, they've been redesigned with the very classic Doctor Who look. Now, this could simply be the BBC's attempt at regaining old fans. They redesigned the Cybermen to look more classic in Series 12, and the Sontarans have been seen as a joke in New Who more recently, so a more redesign to a classic war-torn Sontaran seems like a good move to make. Now, that could all be true and could very well be the reason, but in universe, the Flux could very easily be the reason for this change. In the trailer, we see the Sontarans appear in two very contrasting time periods. One fighting in the Crimean War, and the other in modern-day Liverpool, with Sontaran ships being built and manufactured. Now, Sontarans do have access to limited time travel, but even time travel couldn't mean Sontarans could just begin casually using Earth as a place to manufacture new giant Sontaran battleships. And I think all of this hints to the idea as to what the Flux is actually doing, changing a universe's history. My theory is that these original Sontarans are fighting in the Crimean War as we see them do in the trailer, not sure why they would be though, but they are, and they clearly do win, as no offence to 19th century British soldiers, but the Sontarans would absolutely slaughter them, and begin living on Earth and using Earth's resources to help build weapons and ships for them. The Sontarans then take over Earth and stay on Earth all the way into the 21st century, where they may have developed into the modern day Sontarans we know today. Human and Sontaran history has been completely changed and rewritten, which seems to be what the Flux does. Let's move on to the Weeping Angels now, which seems to be taking place in the past, as we see all the characters in prehistoric clothing. The Weeping Angels feed on time energy, sending their victims back in time to live out the rest of their life, then they feed on that energy. If the Flux is what we say it is, it's a huge force or alien that seems to be changing universes' timelines. It seems like something the Angels would feed on. Interestingly, in the shot after we see the Angels in the trailer, we see Yaz say, "Got the future to say," which goes against what the Angels usually are about. They usually care about changing the past, not really the future, suggesting the Flux might be causing this. Finally, let's go back to the main plot of the series, and that will be to finish Chibnall's main story of the Timeless Child. Whether you love it or hate it, it's gonna be in this series. However, it's not only the Timeless Child Chibnall needs to finish off, but also Jo Martin's Doctor, as we still don't really know where she fits in the timeline. What we know so far is that Jo Martin's Doctor doesn't know anything about Gallifrey being destroyed, not by the Time War or by the Master, and doesn't know who Jodie's Doctor is. So she appears to be a pre-Hartnell Doctor, as Jodie doesn't remember anything about the Timeless Child tests before that. However, there is so many inconsistencies with Jo Martin being a Timeless Child Doctor that it just makes more sense for her to even be a future Doctor who's just forgotten about Jodie and her past. Because Hartnell's Doctor was the first Doctor to call himself the Doctor. He was the first Doctor to steal a TARDIS and run away to 1960s Britain, where the TARDIS became permanently disguised as a police phone box. None of the Timeless Child Doctors did that. Yet, Jo Martin's Doctor seems to know perfectly how to fly the TARDIS, and her TARDIS is also the police phone box. So, with all of these inconsistencies, how does Jo Martin's Doctor fit? And I think the Flux answers it. If the Flux is all about creating and changing time, then it could have created thousands of alternate realities and parallel universes where things have gone wrong or happened differently. A parallel universe where the first Doctor is instead Jo Martin, who travels to 1960s Britain and disguises the TARDIS as a police phone box, and a universe where Gallifrey has never been destroyed before. The Flux could just simply be a concept where the voids between universes are collapsing in on each other, allowing universes to live coincide one another, similarly to Army of Ghosts and Doomsday, but just on a much bigger scale. Such as one parallel Dr. Jo Martin meeting our universe Dr. Jodie, and we've seen the destruction this can do. In the trailer, we can even see a big force basically disintegrating and rewriting an entire planet. Maybe this is what the Flux is. But what could have caused this? I think it's most likely going to be these skull-like creatures, as we see Jodie alone with them in a vast dimensional landscape, which uses very similar colour schemes to the boundary at the end of Series 12. In the trailer, we see Jodie falling through what looks like the boundary, which, as we know, is the gateway to the dimension where the origin of the Timeless Child comes from. And judging by how similar everything looks, it's also probably where these skull-like creatures also come from. My theory is Jodie realises that time seems to be breaking and universes seem to be collapsing into each other, so she has to go through this gateway to find out the true origin of the Timeless Child and the true origin of who she is and who Jo Martin's Doctor is. The Flux might just be a reaction sent out across all of the universes as either a calling for the Doctor to find the origins of the Timeless Child, or a direct consequence of the Doctor finding out the origins of the Timeless Child. But anyway guys, that is the end of this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, make sure that you smash that like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Guys, let me know down below, what do you think? Do you agree with me that this might be sort of what the Flux is all about? Or do you have any other ideas about what Doctor Who Flux might be about? Let me know all your thoughts down below in the comments and which monster you are most excited to be returning, or are you just excited for these new monsters? Personally, if this is what the Flux is about, it's getting me really excited as to the possibilities of what Series 13 could be about, and to me, it might make the Timeless Child actually worth something if this is the case. And wouldn't you love to see Jo Martin's Doctor again? I certainly would. Let me know all your thoughts down below in the comments, and as always, we've been here on Gate of Theories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.